Welcome back. Episode number 33 of the Hitters Meetings. We apologize for not doing one against the good old New York Mets, but we've done a ton of those and life happens at times. But as per usual, I am joined here with Coach Ken. Ken, how the heck are you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. I'm ready to get out of the mountains right now. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I'm really doing good. I mean, the team is phenomenal. I've got a really good friend that's a Rays fan. Everybody knows Roman. Shout out to Roman. I gave him a hard time about picking the Rays this year. Could we honestly have a Braves World Series? That would be beautiful. So I'm ready to talk Diamondbacks, though. They're a weird team. They're really good and really bad. They're definitely where they probably should be. And I think it's episode 33? Brian Jordan. Shout out to B Jordan. HipCoil.
Yep, we got the D-backs coming into Atlanta. They are a very odd team. I would say mediocre describes them very well. They're a little bit better than mediocre. They've been playing some good baseball here lately, but they've had a lot of ups and downs. They just can't put it together consistently, unfortunately for them. But hopefully they play their worst baseball these next three games for us so we can sweep. Because the reason why this is a really big series for us, Brewers and Dodgers are playing one another as we speak out there in Los Angeles. So you got to figure neither one of those teams are going to get swept. So you're going to gain ground on somebody every single night if you're the Atlanta Braves. So these next three games, you really want to try to win every single game that you can. Not that you don't want to win every single game that you can, but a lot of incentive right here when you can gain ground every single night on somebody. So we're going to start with the Diamondbacks pitchers, Ken. In game one, we have Brandon Pfaadt going against us. So can you tell me about Mr. Brandon Pfaadt?
He's one of my favorite pitchers because he showed up the Phillies' ass in the playoffs a couple of years ago. That's when he hit the scene. Brandon is a very good pitcher. He throws a really good fastball up. He's got really good breaking stuff. He throws. He's got a really good changeup. So we talked before we got on here. We do very little. We don't get a chance to talk. We jump on these things, but they do have this repertoire that can give our hitters problems. I think when they're in a slump, but we're not in a slump right now. We're swinging the bats really good. So I'm interested to see how you break down Brandon, but he is one of my favorite pitchers just because of the fact he did shove it up the Phillies' ass a couple of years ago.
That he did. I remember that very vividly and nicely as a Braves fan. So, Mr. Pfaadt, he has had a very good year so far for the Diamondbacks. His repertoire consists of a four-seam fastball, cutter, sweeper, sinker, change, and a curveball. Right-handed hitters, you're going to see the four-seam fastball and the sinker, sweeper, and cutter. Lefties, you're going to see the four-seamer, changeup, curveball, and cutter. Cutter is about around anywhere from 10 to 12% on both of those, righties and lefties. His main pitches are going to be changeup and curveball as the off speed to the lefties. His main off speed is going to be the sweeper to the righties, and he'll throw a cutter in there every once in a while to get them off of it. So, righties, he's going to try to work the sinker inside to you. He's going to try to work the sinker and sweeper tunnel. He's also going to try to pound the four-seam fastball at the top of the zone. That's going to set up the sinker running into you. That's going to set up the sweeper running away. And then, oh, yeah, you got the four-seamer coming right out down the middle. Lefties, he's going to pound the four-seamer at the top of the zone, and he's going to try to tunnel that with the curveball and the changeup. So the curveball is going to be going back foot. Changeup's going to be going down and away off the plate. And again, you got the four-seamer going straight. So you got that nice little triangle that a lot of these MLB pitchers try to get. So his tendencies that I picked up on, Ken, he is off-speed heavy to left-handed hitters in 0-1, 1-1, and 2-1 counts. Everything else is pretty split even. Like his pitch mix is pretty even, but in those counts, it's very noticeable. It's mainly off-speed pitches to lefties. Righties, unfortunately, he mixes everything extremely well in every single count. Like when I tell you it looked like a perfect pie chart with equal percentages around it, it was ridiculous. So there's not going to be much that you can sit on in any given count. He's going to mix it up very well against you. So that's where the approach comes into play, baby. Righties, our approach, we're going to hunt the four-seam fastball, sinker, and sweeper windows. He's going to throw all the pitches on the outside part of the plate, so that's where we're going to really look at. The one exception is going to be the sweeper. You want it to hang. That's really the only sweeper you want to swing at. Anything that starts middle and away and it starts breaking away, you're going to want to take it. For the four-seamer and sinker, we're going to want the ball to start at the belly button to the high thigh and starting middle of the plate to a little off the plate away. The sweeper, you want it to start on the inside corner off the plate to the middle part of the plate above the strike zone, again to the high thigh. If you see the ball break away and it starts on the middle part or the outer third or further away, take it. It's not going to be a strike. If the ball starts middle and it starts breaking into you, that's going to be the sinker. You might as well take it because we're not hunting the inside part of the plate. Keep your direction to right center field. Get the ball up in the zone. His pitches really flatten out when he is up in the strike zone. So give up the inside corner, focus away, unless you get a hanging sweeper. And if you do, have a nice little barrel party out front and hit that thing in the bleachers. That's the only time I really want to see anybody pull a ball as a right-handed hitter is if you get a hanging sweeper. Otherwise, you really need to think middle backside with the fastball and sinker. And of course, the sweeper with 2 strikes that'll land on the outside corner. But until 2 strikes, you really want that thing to hang up in the zone, and you just want to hunt the fastballs away. Lefties, we're going to hunt the four-seamer and changeup window and the hanging curveball. For the four-seamer and changeup, you want the ball to start inner third to outer third, belly button to high thigh. The reason why we want the four-seamer to start at the belly button, he does not have great induced vertical break. It's below league average. And what that means is his fastball doesn't ride through the zone. It doesn't look like it has that elevating factor. It'll actually kind of drop back into the zone. So even if it starts at your belly button, it'll probably drop right into the top of the zone. And he's averaging probably 93 to 95, I think, on his fastball. So it's not elite, and you can still get to it. So I would hunt that pitch. And it fits really well with the changeup because if the changeup starts the same way, it's slower, it's fatter, and you can really easily adjust to a hanging changeup. So that's what I would do. I would elevate my strike zone a little bit so you can really get to his fastball and eliminate the bottom part of the zone completely. The curveball, you want it to start above the strike zone from the outer third to the inner third, and you want to really keep your direction to left center field. And again, for his curveball, you want it above the zone. His curveball has a lot of really good break, and I'm pretty sure his is more of a 12 to 6 kind of angle, which is why I said outer to inner third. So if it starts at the top of the zone, it's going to fall out of the strike zone. You really need that thing to start above the zone for it to even be in the strike zone, and that's the hanger that you want to get to anyway. So if it starts in the zone, it starts breaking down, just take it. It's probably going to be the ball. Key is to get him up in the zone. His pitches really flatten out when you do that, when he is up in the zone, and you can do a lot of damage. Make him pound the strike zone, but swing at the pitches that you want to hit, not his pitches, because he's going to try to throw that fastball above the zone a little bit to get you to chase. You need to bring that back down into the strike zone, and he's going to try to get you to chase away off the plate or inside off the plate if you're a lefty. So make sure, again, you keep that. You really want to keep it a tight window in the middle of the zone. You really kind of want to eliminate the corners, keep it middle of the zone, and if you get something up, it's going to flatten out and you can really do damage. That is what I have on Mr. Brandon Pfaadt. You get it up in the zone, it flattens out, and you can do a lot of damage. But if you start chasing him off the plate or up in the zone, it's going to be a really long day at the ballpark. You got anything else?
When we face him, I always know if he's on against us is when really with the left-handed hitters when they're swinging at that little pitch going away from them, they're missing it. Then I know he's on. When we tend to lay off of it, I know we're seeing it better and we tend to hit it. That's what I'll be looking for Friday night. Is our left-handed hitter swinging over top of that changeup? Because as you said, if it's at the knee and lower, they should just let it go because it's going to be a ball. So that'll be an interesting thing to watch Friday night. And if he gets the ball up, we should be able to hit him.
No doubt about it. We've faced really elite fastballs here lately, especially coming out of the Mets and Yankee series with those kids throwing absolute gas. So I don't think 93 is anything they can't handle at the top of the strike zone, and that might not be a really good thing for Mr. Pfaadt. Moving on to game 2, Ken, you have the crafty lefty who, if anybody remembers all the way back in March, threw in the World Baseball Classic. Yes, chat, that happened this year. It feels like it's been freaking moons ago, but it wasn't that long ago. It's Mr. Eduardo Rodriguez. He starts in game 2 for the D-backs. Ken, what you got on him?
Big game pitcher. He elevates his game in a bigger game. And I'm assuming that Eduardo is going to think this is a big game for the Diamondbacks. They're right now in the loss column or in the playoffs. They do on the tiebreaker against the Phillies and the Padres, and so they're in good shape. I expect to get a good outing out of Eduardo. He's had a very good year. He's really had a bounce back year, and he's got stuff that can be nasty. And he works away a lot, of course, as you just saw there. Got to hit him middle backside, and it'll be an interesting game for sure.
Yeah, he was really solid in the World Baseball Classic. He shut Team USA down, so he's definitely got good stuff, and he's really figured something out this year. And I think some of that is something to do that he made an adjustment with his pitch mix. Believe it or not, he had a slider last year that he threw a decent amount of the time. Ken no longer throws it.
Yeah.
He's completely gone. So his repertoire now is four seamer, sinker, cutter, changeup, and curveball. That's his repertoire now. No slider no more. So right-handed hitters, you're going to see a heavy dose of the four-seam and changeup. And when I mean a heavy dose, you're looking at 80% four-seam fastball and changeups. And then every once in a while, he'll throw a cutter in there just to throw you off and get you thinking. But if you see a cutter, just think it's an anomaly, and that's exactly what it is. It's not something that he's going to try to attack you with. Make him attack you with it before you adjust your game plan. Your game plan, we're going to get into that in a little bit. Lefties, you're going to see the four-seamer, sinker, cutter, and curveball. Every once in a while, he'll go with the lefty-lefty changeup, but it's mainly cutter and curveball as his out pitches against lefties. He's going to pound the top of the zone with his four-seam fastball. That's going to set up the tunnel for the cutter, the changeup, the curveball, and the sinker. His tendencies, right-handed hitters, he is 80% four-seamer and changeup, just like I said a little bit earlier. Lefties, there are no tendencies. He's going to mix everything up very well against you. It's very odd that there's some organizations that really value certain things in pitchers, and Diamondbacks are going to see they really value elevated four-seamers, and you can tunnel every other pitch off of that. And apparently where they don't have any tendencies to a certain side of the plate. So it's been very interesting when I've been doing this. For our approach, right-handed hitters, you're going to hunt the four-seamer and changeup window. Really no other reason to hunt anything else. We want the ball to start inner third to outer third, belt to high thigh in height. Keep your direction to right center field and completely give up on the inside corner. Make him pound the inside corner before we abandon our approach, which is going to be hunt the four-seamer and changeup out over the plate. I would actually be okay with our right-handed hitters, Ken, if they choke the plate. Like, make him want to come inside and get you back off the plate before you even do anything. I wouldn't mind if we do that. I know there's a lot of guys who don't like moving up on the plate, but I was a big person. If I saw somebody just away, I'd go ahead and just sit on all over the plate and make me uncomfortable inside before I get back off. So again, make him pound the inside corner before you get back off and have to rethink your approach. Do not expand low or high. Keep him over the middle part of the plate, and you really want him in the upper part of the quadrant. Again, that changeup will flatten out up in the zone. His four-seamer is a decent four-seamer, but it's not a Garrett Cole four-seamer. It's not a Max Fried four-seamer. It's not a Nolan McLean fastball. So again, you can hit his fastball. You just got to keep your direction right center field. Make sure you get it up and you don't expand. Lefties, you're going to hunt the four-seamer and changeup as well, but you're also going to hunt the hanging curveball. For the four-seamer and changeup, you're going to want the ball to start belt to high thigh, outer third to inner third. The curveball, you want it to start at you on inside off of the plate and above the zone. And that's it. His curveball, if it starts in the zone, even at the top, it's going to break down and away beautifully onto the outside corner if he's on. So, again, I would get it inside at you off the plate and up. That'll be the hanger, and that's the one you want to do damage on. Everything else I would take until two strikes personally. Again, keep your direction to left center field. Get the ball up in the zone. His stuff flattens out a lot if he does that, and you're going to have a lot of success. I don't see a need in really worrying about his cutter or sinker. If he's throwing it a lot, to the point where you got to go into the dugout and you got to reevaluate your game plan and approach, that's fine, but it's mainly four-seamers and changeups from this guy, man. And I think if you sit on the four-seamer and changeup as a lefty, you're going to recognize the curveball spin a whole lot better than you would. Cutter, it doesn't have a whole lot of spin. It just has late action, and if you're already sitting left center field, you can really make a good adjustment and still drive that ball the other way. So, Ken, that is what I got on Eduardo Rodriguez. Do you have anything else?
I'm looking forward to the Lane Thomas Eduardo Rodriguez matchup. That's the one everybody should be in their seats at Truist Park. That will be fun come Saturday night.
I agree. Mr. Lane Thomas is a left-handed pitcher killer, and this has been one of the better left-handers in the game. So that's going to be a really good matchup for those guys. That'll be fun. Game 3, Ken, we got an old friend alert. Michael Soroka is pitching for the Arizona Diamondbacks in Game 3. I don't think it's his first time back in Truist. I think he pitched with the Nationals against us, but it's always nice to see Mike, and he really shoved it up our rear ends the last time we faced him out there in Arizona, so hopefully we can return the favor here in Game 3. What you got on Mr. Soroka?
We all know Mike very well. He's a very good pitcher. This is his second start coming off the IL. So he's he's a good pitcher. I mean, he's gonna. You know what the interesting thing? His arm slot where he throws. That's what worries me about Sunday's game. It's not something we've seen. He's got a little bit of a whip action, in my opinion. So it'd be interesting. And Mike, I think, just like Zach Wheeler's always kind of had it against the Braves because he always wanted to be a Brave. I think Mike is going to be very pumped up Sunday, and we're going to have our best at bats against him because he'll be ready.
Yeah, I think he's one of those guys who are going to be like, you know what, you guys didn't believe in me. I'm going to really shove it up your rear ends to prove you wrong. Which believe me when I say this, I am happy Michael Soroka has found success again in the Major League Baseball because what that kid had to go through with 2 torn Achilles tendons to just get back on the baseball field is really impressive. So happy for Mike. There's not many people or athletes that could do that. So for him to do that, it's really awesome to see. But we're here to beat his rear end in Game 3. So back to the pitch mix. 4-seamer, cutter, changeup, slurve. He does still throw the sinker, but it's not as much. Righties, you're going to mainly see 4-seamer and sinkers. His out pitch against you is going to be the slurve. He will mix in cutters here and there, but it's going to be very seldom just to give you a different look every once in a while. Lefties, you're going to see mainly 4-seam fastballs and slurves with a mixture of the changeup and cutter. So that's really interesting that he really heavily relies on that slurve, but you will see about I want to say it's about a 15% changeup, and the cutter I think is like less than 10%, but mainly 4-seam and slurve for you left-handed hitters. He's going to pound the 4-seam fastball at the top of the zone. There's your common theme. They love their 4-seamers at the top of the zone in the Arizona organization, and that's going to help set up the tunnel for the sinker, the slurve, the cutter, the curveball, and the changeup. He does have the curveball. He does not throw it much. I mean, it's like less than 8%, so it's probably like 5 a game if I had to even that many. His tendencies, he tends to use the sinker early in the counts against right-handed hitters and relies on the 4-seam fastball and slurve when ahead in the count. So 2-strike counts, you're going to see a lot of 4-seamers and slurves. But early in the count, that's when he'll mix in his cutter and his sinker. But when it comes to crunch time to put guys away, he relies on those 2 pitches. Lefties, he is changeup heavy in 0-1, 1-1, and 1-0 counts. Again, when it gets to 2 strikes, he's going to rely on the 4-seamer and slurve. Now, I'm not saying that's the only pitches he's going to throw. You just saw him in the video strike out somebody on I think it was like a 2-2 changeup, but he will pitch to the count when he needs to, but he's going to really heavily rely on those 2 pitches to try to put hitters away, whether it's righties or lefties. Right-handed hitters approach. We are going to hunt the 4-seamer and sinker window and the hanging slurve. For the 4-seamer and sinker, we want the ball to start on the outside corner to the inner third, belt to high thigh in height. The slurve, we want it to start at us inside off of the plate to the middle of the plate, above the strike zone to the belt. Keep your direction to the right center field gap. I know I say it a lot, but it's the best way to be as a hitter, in my opinion. And do not get pull happy. Do not expand your zone above the belt, but keep him in the upper part of the zone. He wants you to expand on the fastball above the zone and on the slurve away and down. If you keep him in the top part of the zone, in the strike zone, you're going to have a lot of success. He doesn't have a fastball that's going to blow you away, but if you start chasing the slurve away off the plate, you start chasing the changeup down below the strike zone, you're going to have a long day against him. But if you can keep him up in that upper part of the zone, just like a lot of these Diamondback pitchers, you can have a lot of success. Lefties, for me, I know he likes to throw the slurve, But we're going to hunt the four-seamer and changeup window, and of course the hanging slurve. For the four-seamer and changeup, we want the ball to start belt high to high thigh, inner third to the outer third part of the plate. The slurve, we want it to start above the zone, outside off of the plate to the middle part of the plate. Again, you want to keep your direction to left center field and keep him up in the strike zone. Again, do not expand up or away. Keep him in the upper part of the strike zone, and you will have a lot of success off of Mike Soroka. You just cannot expand your strike zone. You can't chase him. If you chase him, as we saw last time, Ken, it can be a really long day at the ballpark. You got anything else on Mike?
No, it'll be a tough ride come Sunday. He'll be ready. And we'll need Bryce to really bounce back and have a good outing.
I agree with that. We definitely need Bryce to bounce back. All right, chat. I said they didn't have a lefty in the recap. I was wrong. They found a really good left-handed reliever. He might be one of the best in the game. His name is Brineyn Garcia, Ken. Left-handed reliever. I think he's their only left-handed reliever out of the pen. Do you know anything of Brineyn Garcia? Nothing? You want to find out about him?
Yes.
All right. So his pitch mix. Let me go ahead and bring him up so you guys can see a little bit of video on Brineyn Garcia as I talk to you about the pitch mix. His pitch mix is a sinker, a cutter, and a sweeper. His fastball sits anywhere from 93 to 97, so that is involving both the sinker and cutter. His sweeper, believe it or not, is like a cool 83 to 85 miles an hour. So he has a very wide range of pitches or pitch speeds. So he's been actually one of the best left-handed relievers in the game of baseball since he has come up in the Arizona organization this year. He was, as you can see, with the Mariners last year. I don't think he did a great job for them, but he has been doing a phenomenal job. I encourage you to go look at his Savant page if you're curious. It is pretty red. So getting back to the main portion here, lefties, you're going to see a lot of the sinker and sweeper. Righties, you're going to see the sinker and cutter, and every once in a while he'll try to back foot the sweeper to you. His tendencies, he is sweeper heavy in two strike counts to both right-handers and left-handers. So that is his out pitch to both of you guys, but again, he still tends to lean more on the cutter, but when he gets to two strikes, you're going to start seeing the sweeper. Righties, you're going to hunt the sinker window and the cutter window, and the cutter window will help you stay on the sweeper as well. For the sinker, we want the ball to start inside off of the plate, at us to the middle part of the plate, belt to mid-thigh in height. The cutter, we want the ball to start at the belt to the mid-thigh, outside off the plate, away to the middle part of the plate. That'll keep it in the strike zone, and you'll keep it in a range where you can do damage. Keep your direction to right center field, and you want to get something out over the middle of the plate. And I'm not saying you want something up and elevated, but I'm also not saying you want something down either, because you can roll over it or you can pop it up. If you can get something in that honey hole right there in the middle part, that's what you want, because the sinker can back over in the middle of the plate. Cutter can back over in the middle of the plate as well. So that's where I would really be hunting, is one of those hanging sinkers, hanging cutters, because you're going to get one of those two pitches or a hanging sweeper, and you can do some serious damage. And he's going to probably give you at least one of them. The key is you just can't miss it. Lefties, your approach. We're going to hunt the sinker and sweeper windows. For the sinker, we want the ball to start off of the plate away to the middle part of the plate, belt to mid-thigh in height. The sweeper, we want to start off of the plate at us to the outer third, I would say to the middle part of the plate, above the zone to the high thigh. Keep your direction to left center field. Do not expand away, because he's going to try to get you to chase the sweeper, so make sure you keep that on the plate. Make sure if it starts anywhere middle away and it starts breaking that way, go ahead and take it. You want the ball that's going to stay over the plate and kind of hang. And the sinker, I know you're going to have it start off the plate, but make sure you're reading the ball and it's not breaking away, it's breaking back towards you. So if you keep him over the middle part of the plate, you're going to have a lot of success. But if you start chasing his stuff, which a lot of people do because he is a nasty pitcher, it's going to be a very long at-bat for you. So, Ken, that is what I have on Brineyn Garcia. Do you have anything else?
No, I noticed the ball tailed a lot. So if I'm a right-handed batter, anything that I start seeing on the outer quadrant, I just got to let go. It gives me the best chance to hit something coming toward me. I think it's a spot on. And that's just watching a little video. It's literally the first time I've seen the kid throw. But I'm going to tell my hitters we're going to kind of have to spin on stuff going away from us because you just can't hit that pitch.
Not at all, and it's got a really good run too, man. He's got he's a really good pitcher. So moving on to their closer. Now there were a couple other really good right-handed relievers, but we only got two slots that we're going to cover, and we're going to cover the closer. So Mr. Kevin Ginkel as their closer, and I know that the Braves have had some success against him in the past. So talk to me a little bit about Mr. Old Kevin Ginkel.
He is the old man closer that he's not. The elevator don't quite go to the top. Uh, Kevin's a good pitcher. I mean, I'm not trying to shortchange him, but he's a psycho on the mound. And the more you can get in his head, the better. I would make him work. And I would definitely sit fastball and drive him. He is the pitcher, if Braves fans remember, who and they were up 2 runs, 2 outs, and Ronnie was on third base, was more worried about Ronnie messing with him than he was getting the out with a 2-strike count on the batter. If anybody remembers from a couple years ago, this is the same guy, and he's now the closer. He does have really good off speed, but he is somebody that we normally have hit in the past.
He is, and he was so worried about Ronald that he balked him home.
Yeah.
I do remember that. That's the first thing that popped in my head when I thought of Kevin Ginkel.
Yep.
So Kevin is a 2-pitch pitcher, Ken. He's a fastball and a slider guy. His slider, though, is not the typical, like that cuts this way with a little down. It's a hard drop down. So right-handed hitters, you're going to hunt the 4-seam fastball window and the hanging slider. We want the 4-seamer to start inner third to the outer third part of the plate, belt to mid-thigh in height. Again, the reason why I don't want to go much lower than that is because it gets really tough to read the slider if you start it too low, and you'll be swinging at the slider that goes down to the dirt. So you still want to keep the ball elevated up a little bit against him so you're not susceptible to that. The slider, you want it to start above the zone, starting inside at you off of the plate to the outer third. Again, his slider doesn't have a whole lot of break away. It has more break going down, so you can expand your zone over the plate a little bit more to cover it. Keep your direction to right center field. Keep the ball up in the zone. Do not expand down because that's when you're going to become susceptible to the slider. So again, right center field, get him up, and and it flattens out. You're going to have a lot of success. Again, these Diamondback pitchers, you can game plan just about the same way. They're going to throw fastballs up in the zone, and their off speed's going to flatten out if you get it up. So lefties, our approach, you're going to hunt the 4-seam fastball and the hanging slider. It's the same approach. We want the fastball to start on the inner third to the outer third of the plate, belt to mid-thigh in height. The slider, you want to start above the zone, starting off the plate away to the inner third. Keep your direction to left center field. Keep the ball up in the zone. Do not expand down because, again, that's going to make you really susceptible to the slider. So a lot of these pitchers in the Diamondbacks organization, you really want to keep in that upper quadrant of the zone because they don't have – I'm not saying not all the pitchers do, but I'm saying these pitchers that we covered don't have exceptional velocity. Ginkel can run up to 97, but his induced vertical break doesn't play very well. I think it averaged 13. So it doesn't have that elite ride through the zone. Not saying 97 isn't hard to hit, but at least he doesn't have that, so it makes it a little bit more easier to get to. And the slider can be really good if you don't keep him up in the zone. If you keep him up in the zone and you make sure that the slider's hanging, and if you see that the ball is starting to break down when it's starting in the middle part of the plate, like around the mid-thigh, and you lay off of that pitch, you're gonna have success because he's gonna have to get the ball up in the strike zone on you. And he's going to throw the fastball, and if you time one of those fastballs up and you don't miss it, you're going to send it a long way. So that's what I got on Mr. Kevin Ginkel, Ken. A lot of these Diamondback pitchers, they value the same thing, fastballs up and breaking stuff down in the zone. So really interesting to see that. What you think?
I agree. I mean, it's spot on. I mean, if you can get him not swinging those pitches that are going straight down, his slider does this. And as soon as you can read that out of his hand, he gets very frustrated on the mound. We can frustrate him, and we always try to give you a closure we can come back on. We tell you the ones we can't. We can hit this guy. We can actually walk him off. So don't stay in your seats the whole time because we can beat him.
100%. So, excuse me, Ken, with that being said, We got to do series prediction and picks to click. So, first off, give me your pick to click this series.
Austin Riley. Austin Riley's going to have a big series. We all know he's hitting 350 over the last eight. I think it's 18 games I went back. Average wise, OPS well into the 800s. I made a prediction on the series preview. I'll stick to it here. I think Austin's supposed to go in one of those streaks where he hits like 10 homers in the next 15 games. That's how well I think he's going to swing the bat. I even looked ahead to the matchups coming up on the road trip. And it's going to be a tough end on that road trip. But still, with that said, I think Austin's going to have a big series here. I like his matchup big time on Eduardo Rodriguez. I think he can hit Eduardo out of the ballpark.
I 100% agree with you. When we were doing the breakdown of Eduardo, I was like, this is a guy that Austin Riley could really have a fun day against if he's on.
Yep.
So keep that in mind, chat. My pick to click, I'm going to do an honorable mention first. I think this is a really good series for Ozzie Albies to get going again. I think he likes Arizona pitching. He does well. It doesn't matter whether he's right-handed or left-handed against these guys. I think this is a really good opportunity for him to get going again. He's not my pick to click, though, but I do think he's going to have a good series. My pick to click, Ken's a fun one. It's the left field platoon. Lane Thomas and Mike Yastrzemski. And yes, chat, we can do that. They're a platoon. That counts as one player in my book. So I am going with the platoon of the left fielders. I think they're going to have a really good series. Yaz and his 1 OPS for the last, 15 games, almost a month now. He's been crushing it. Lane Thomas, he's going to have a fun day against Eduardo Rodriguez. He gets to play baseball for a full day there. I really like the matchups for those guys this series, and I think they're going to play a pivotal role just because, realistically, Ken, we've only had about 3 guys carrying this lineup right now, and we've just been getting a little bit of contributions from other guys. So, and they've been one of them, and Austin Riley's been another one that's been really carrying. So, with that being said, series prediction, buddy, what you got?
Real quick, I think Sean Murphy also can have a good night Saturday night as well. So Sean normally hits the Diamondbacks very well. And Andrew took Ronald Acuna Jr. and his pick to click. That's also a good one. So I'm going to go 2 out of 3. I told Ryan before the show I almost want to predict sweep, but I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to go 2 out of 3. But like I said on the recap, I don't know which one I'm going to say we win and which one we lose because I can see us losing any of those 3 games, winning. But there's a reason why the Braves are 14-5. We said real quick on the start of the second half, this was pivotal. After the All-Star break, the Braves had way more home games than they did road games, and they needed to make hay. They took a 2-game lead to a 9-game lead. The Phillies won, got back within 9, and it's a lot to do because they're really good at home right now, 14-5. So I'll go 2 out of 3, but may get a sweep out of this.
Man, you think a lot alike, buddy. I'm going 2 out of 3 as well, but I think the sweep is very possible. I think it'd be really hard for us to get swept. I could see us losing 2 out of 3, but I definitely see us winning 2 out of 3 a whole lot more and possibly sweeping. I could see us losing either of the games, so it's really kind of a toss-up if we lose one of the games because it could go either way at any given time. So I do like the series, and as like I said at the beginning of this episode, it's very important that we try to win every single game because the Dodgers and Brewers are playing as we speak. They got a 3 or 4 game set between each other. And if you take 3 games in a row, you're going to gain ground on one of the 2 teams, whether that's the Dodgers or the Brewers. So it's really important that we try to win all 3 games, and I think the Braves know that as well. So with that being said, chat, you have our predictions. You have our picks to click, and we're out of here until the next series recap or the next tip call. Peace.
Peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.